We love being able to go to the different high school, colleges, middle schools to live broadcast sporting events around the area. Georgia Alabama Sports Live appreciates all the fan support, but without a presenting sponsor like Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC in Opelika, none of this would be possible. So we want to say thank you so much. Go to glennsmith.com. That is right, glennsmith.com. See all the inventory and see why people always say, you're ready to smile. Thanks, everyone, and thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC for being our presenting sponsor.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Georgia Alabama Sports Live, but it is the Brookstone Coaches Show, and we'll be doing this throughout the year, hopefully, and it's going to pretty much be on Tuesday. I don't think that it was a coincidence that, the first Coaches Show is on the actual day that I had planned throughout the year to have on Brookstone Coaches to promote Brookstone Cougar Athletics. We're also going to have the Glenwood Coaches Show, Calvary Coaches Show, and the Muskogee County Coaches Show. So a lot of content coming up. Next week, we start games. We got volleyball. We got softball. We're going to be able to live stream all those. You're talking about it new and improved. And I'm looking because behind the scenes right now, he's not going to actually be on this show, but he's producing it. It is Richard Holdridge, who is always a one of a kind and gives a lot to Georgia Alabama Sports Live. So the Brookstone Coaches Show, we're going to have on Coach Kim Ellison here in just a moment. Then she's a girls' head basketball coach. And then we're going to have on the boys' head basketball coach. His name is Karl, Ivey, a good friend of mine. I think this is the first time he's been on anything Georgia Alabama Sports Live. His teams have been streamed, but I don't think we ever got to interview. We didn't get to interview him after that playoff game because there was a couple of mishaps that happened. And then we weren't able to have him on media day. His assistant coach was there. So I'm glad that we're going to finally be able to talk to him and what he's doing great things at Brookstone. Then we have on Greg Mathis, who just got a ring, state championship winning baseball coach for the Brookstone Cougars. And we're going to wrap it up with the volleyball coach. Coming back after coaching for 5 or 6 years there is Lee Halverson. And love Big Lee. And many people don't know this, but Lee's a great volleyball player, an excellent volleyball coach. He's coached at multiple schools in our area, but the man can play pickup. And he's a great trash talker. And he's got this one-legged floater, also high arcing left-handed shot that he hits that you're like, how does that happen? Because you're all over him and he somehow goes in. You all know the type of players I'm talking about, especially when you're playing elite defense. But can't wait to have Coach on. All right, without further ado, let's bring her in. She is the head girls basketball coach for the Brookstone Cougars. She's a good friend of mine. Her name is Coach Kim Ellison. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
All right, Coach, let's go ahead and get into it. Last year, you're coming off of the previous year. You made it to the state championship game. You were within single digits heading into that fourth quarter. And then last year, you replaced a lot of scoring, specifically the girl that put up over 26 points a game. But I thought that was your best coaching job, I'm going to be honest with you. And your leading scorer was only a freshman. Your third leading scorer was only a sophomore. Give me your overall, what your mindset was after last year. What was your expectations? And you feel like you accomplished what you thought you could heading into the year?
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of growth. We knew we were going to have a challenging season, losing Taylor Williams, of course. And we always joked, the girls and I, we talked about life after Taylor. And it was a learning curve on both the girls and my part. And to replace that scoring, it's almost impossible. But the girls got better as the season went along. And like you said, we're led by a freshman who averaged a double-double. Carson Galligan, she's coming back this year. Taylor Zawicki, she's coming back. She played a little bit of travel basketball this summer. So that's exciting, along with a couple of my other little guards. So I'm looking forward to the year.
Yeah, I am too, Coach. Now you do lose Maggie Yancey, who Maggie
Yep.
is a senior. She reminds me a lot of me. We didn't have, the ultimate athletic ability, but wanting and loving the game, getting better, working on your shot, and always being coachable. I felt like that was Maggie. Do you agree that she was a great leader for last year's young team and did everything you asked her to do?
Oh, definitely. She led the girls amazingly, and hats off to her. I can't wait to see how great she does. She's attending Georgia Tech, so
Nice.
that's exciting. And yeah, she did an amazing job leading our team last year.
And last year, the Lady Cougars went all the way to the quarterfinals. And coach, we talked throughout the season. I was impressed. You even got a playoff victory, got to the quarterfinals. Now you came up against a really good team, but I still thought last year, with the young talent you had, you did everything you were supposed to do, building for the future. But to get off of last year a little bit and more onto Coach Ellison, we talked a little bit about this during media day and stuff, but going back to your playing days, did you ever think coaching was in your repertoire? And same thing with your sister. Did y'all both have this mindset that eventually y'all were going to be coaches, or it just kind of happened?
No, it just kind of happened. I mean, my mom, she taught school back in the day when she was working, and she also coached. So I guess it's kind of in our blood, but I did not want to go into teaching or coaching. Kind of just fell in my lap, but I enjoy it, and I think I'm pretty good at it. So
I
it's
completely
it's been
agree.
fun.
And Coach Mills signs off on both of you. And I've said this multiple times. You're going to eventually be at the college level whenever that happens. But you're doing great things with the Brookstone Cougars. Now, we talked last year. It's hard for you to have really a summer with your girls because your girls in the private school, they play a lot of other sports. And usually basketball is not their main sport. Were you able to do anything this off season? Or are you pretty much going to have to just get ready to get your girls ready about a month before the season starts?
Majority of the time, just get the girls ready a month before the season. I had a couple girls shoot me some text, and I met them at the gym, and we just got on the gun. We shot. We went over some technical stuff on their shots, ball handling, stuff like that. Like I said earlier, I did have four girls that ended up playing travel basketball. So that
Nice.
was that was pretty fun to see them getting out and trying to, just pique their interest in basketball. So I think that's gonna help and make a huge difference.
Do you have any new players coming on this year? And is Carson Galligan, I'm guessing Taylor Zawicki, are those your focal point in the offense coming up this year? What are you looking forward to?
Yep, Taylor and Carson, of course, will be our 4 and 5, and then I'll have Julianne Powell. She was a freshman last year, and she had a good freshman season. Especially like I said, life after Taylor. Coming into that is tough. I'm tough on her, like super tough. Because she has aspirations of going to the next level. So I was super tough on her. She responded well, and I saw a lot of growth in her this year. So next year I'm expecting even more growth, and along with those three and the other two that played travel ball, I think we have a solid core coming back.
I think so too. And the league's wide open. I know Pacelli returns a lot of players, but
Yeah.
I really expect you to be competitive this year, Coach. I want to talk about girls basketball as a whole. Okay. I'm going back to your days. I mean, Prime Kim would put up against anyone. You would make a lot of people fall. I mean, you had a lot of highlights. But I think right now there is an elite number of girls basketball players in our area that's going to go on to high level Division 1 like you played. Do you think it's about the same? Do you think it's gotten better now that you're seen as a coach and you saw it as a player? What do you think girls basketball is? You think it's about the same? You think it's gotten better these last 10, 15 years?
I think it's about the same. I I'm very confident in myself and my sister. I don't think personally any of the girls could beat us to this day, but that's just me. But they do have a lot of talent, and I'm excited to see them pursuing their dreams and their goals.
Speaking of goals, ultimately, do you want to get to the college level? Is coaching for 15, 20, 30 years, like you see Coach Mills doing all this time? Is that in the calling cards, or are you just taking it day by day? Like, what's the goal for you with coaching?
I'm not sure. I'm just taking it day by day. I love where I'm at. It's been a great experience. My family's here, so I'm not sure that I could ask for something better. But I leave the door open, but I am happy where I am.
Well, like I said, one of the brightest minds. You're tough on the girls, and you make them better, and you're real with them. Like, I feel like sometimes with coaches nowadays, Kim, and you know this, they're going to say what the player wants them, like what the player wants to hear, instead of being real with them, saying, you know what, maybe D2, D3, junior college is the route for you to go. They start shooting for stuff that's out of their realm, and then they're not even playing basketball anymore because, honestly, with NIL and the transfer portal, it's hard enough to get scholarships as it is. So I'm glad that you're one of the real people with that. Do you want to expound upon that? Because I know you see it firsthand experience as well.
It's a lot. Me and Kelly talk about it all the time. The NIL is crazy. Um, I don't know that I would be able to handle all of that. I think it's like a catch-22. I would have loved to have had that. However, on the flip side, I'm kind of happy that we didn't because I could focus just on the game and not the all the outside noise. The transfer portal is crazy. Any college athlete who is tough. You better think twice before getting into the portal because a lot of student athletes who are not finding new schools and they're just kind of ending up back home or going to work a job, and it's tough.
Yeah, it is. And it's also tougher for high school students as well to be able to even get recruited. You got to be the elite of the elite because then they're going to find people that have been in college 3-4 years, whether they set the bench or not. They rather go after them that's been in a system, understand the college life sometimes, than going after a 17 or 18-year-old. Coach, why did you decide on Brookstone? Why are you wearing the Brookstone Cougars logo proudly, and why is this a place you've called home these last couple of years?
Well, it's a family environment. I love my day job. I teach pre-K through fifth grade PE.
Nice.
And those little ones, they're amazing. They bring a lot of energy. I have to get my mind right before every class, but they do bring a lot of energy, and they're just so cute. Like, I teach my niece. My niece is a rising fourth grader, so that's always fun to be on the same campus with her. She gets happy when she sees me, so it just kind of brightens my day.
Coach, last question. Any of your staff, anybody you want to give a shout out to that helps out with the girls basketball program? Anybody new that may be helping out this year, going on and coming up this season that you want to give a shout out to?
So my assistant coach from last year, Paris Haas, she did an excellent job. She came in late. She's married to somebody in the military, so they actually had to get deployed. So I'm actually looking for an assistant coach.
Okay, well then
For
that's a
varsity
disclaimer out there
basketball.
then.
So yep. So if anybody's interested, just reach out to me and we'll see what happens.
Well, Cam, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you this year. Looking forward to having you on the Brookstone Coach Show throughout the year. And heck, even Georgia Alabama Sports Live, because I love talking sports with you, specifically basketball as well. Appreciate you, girl, and hope you have a great rest of your night. Hope to talk to you real soon.
Thank you.
All right, that is Coach Cam Ellison. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got Coach Karl Ivey on the Brookstone Coach Show here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
You're watching right now the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this.
Check out these great offers at Glenn Smith and Opelika.
At Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika, you can own one of the best-selling vehicles in the USA, the GMC Sierra pickup. Right now, discounted up to $15,500 off. The roomy and comfortable compact SUV, the GMC Terrain, is up to $7,750 off.
Choose from over 400 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way to Glenn Smith and Opelika. Get ready to smile.
I'm smiling right now because coming up next is a guy that I have been friends with for a long time. He was an excellent basketball player in his own right, and he will give it to you. Trust me, we still play pickup ball. He lets these young bucks know who he is, and his name is Karl Ivey Jr. He is the head basketball coach of the Brookstone Cougars, one of my good friends. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Coach. We've tried to have this conversation for quite some time. So I'm going to, because we've had Kim on, we let her tell her story of how she got to where she is in several media days, but we haven't been able to do that with you, Coach. So for everyone else, unlike me, I pretty much know your entire story, where you played, how'd you get here, but no one else does, except for the Brookstone family. So please tell everyone, where'd you play ball and what led you into the coaching circuit and how'd you get to Brookstone?
Okay, so I started in high school as a guard on the Columbus High basketball team. At the time, Columbus High was not very good, but nonetheless, in my senior season, I was able to have an opportunity to go play for Point University. It's right up the road, West Point, Georgia. It's a small NAIA school. Was at Point for a year and a half, and then just had a coaching change. And after that coaching change, it was like, hey, is this the best situation for me? Should I maybe look for something else? And ultimately I looked for something else, and I was able to land a spot on the Columbus State men's basketball team playing for Robert Moore. And I would say that was one of the best things that could happen in my basketball journey. I started as a walk-on, did not play for 2 seasons, just really had to develop a better work ethic and a better approach to the game of basketball. And, these lessons that you learn through the sport, eventually they end up helping you through life. By my senior year, I was able to crack the rotation, earned a scholarship. And before you know it, I'm playing against Augusta, who was nationally ranked at the time, hitting 4 threes on our home court, helping us win the game. Like that grind and just that part of my story, I'm always proud to own. I did not start off as the best, and I'm a firm believer in her hard work. After my playing time at Columbus State, I was offered the graduate assistant position, and from there, I really just fell in love with coaching. My coaching story starts in my first year as GA. On December 24th, we had a player named Anthony Moore pass away. I hosted his baby shower. I was extremely close friends with him. He was one of my best friends. And so that time, that process of just having to work through grief while still being a basketball coach for other young men who are also enduring the grief of having lost their teammate, it showed me that through coaching, I can really make an impact on individuals' lives. And from the graduate assistantship at Columbus State, I was able to secure the position at Brookstone. And so, I tell people all the time, I try to keep the main thing, keep it about the kids. How can I help them, whether it's basketball related, life related, skills related, anything. And I love it.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And I'm telling you right now, you're young, you're vibrant, you get along with the players, you're real with them. And you're a rising star, obviously, in this sport. And you're wise beyond your ears. You're more mature than most people are taking on this opportunity because, I had an opportunity to coach at the campus academy. And I remember being around 26, 27, just very energetic. You know how I can be, Karl. I'm very high maintenance sometimes on the basketball court. And I learned that didn't translate so well in coaching, especially if you got to coach players differently. And I saw how you did that this year. But before we talk about this past year and what you got coming up this year, which I'm ready to talk about, I got to ask about your dad, who was also a great coach, just led Columbus High to their first playoff in 20 years. And I thought it was honestly the best coaching job out of anyone in this area and should have won Coach of the Year. Talk about what he's meant to you as having someone as a mentor and now possibly joining your staff, but I'll let you tell that.
So, like you said, just that the relationship I have with my dad outside of basketball is phenomenal. We are a very close-knit family. We have 2 family reunions every year. So as a family, we are always going to be close. And then just to have basketball as a shared arena that we both enjoy, and me stepping into the coaching ranks, having to coach against them 2 times this year, it was a great experience. And ultimately, because of his years as a head coach, his years as an assistant coach, he will be joining my staff as an assistant coach this year, which I am very grateful for because I will get to lean on him for his wealth of knowledge. Aside from that, I mean, I have LJ Billingsley, and we've all really meshed extremely well this summer. And so I'm really excited to just be able to bounce different ideas, hear multiple perspectives, and ultimately just find ways to win games.
Karl, why did you choose to go to Brookstone? Because there were other opportunities out there. You could have waited for an opportunity, but you really jumped at this Brookstone job. And, it's kind of been a revolving door with head coaches. We've had several in the last couple of years. I feel like you really love this place. I feel like this is going to be a place you call home for quite some time. Why was Brookstone the decision to jump on board and be a Cougar?
So before I was offered the Brookstone position and after my time as GA at Columbus State, I was working with a company called Impact Basketball. It was started by Joe Abusnar. It's a player development company for basketball. And so I was in Las Vegas in June and July at the same time as Summer League, helping get guys ready for Summer League and the NBA draft. And one of the things that I learned there is that nothing is more valuable than just the experience. And so from that point on, it was like, hey, I have opportunities in front of me to hold the clipboard. And by hold the clipboard, that means I'm the head coach. It's my timeout. All eyes are on me. I implement the practice plan. I implement our schemes. I call plays. I call timeouts. It's all on me. And there's a certain level of accountability with that. But at the same time, as you progress through those types of dealings, you learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And ultimately, for me, being 27, it'll just help me be ready for Brookstone for 30 years or whatever may be next in my career at any level and any position.
Oh, it's also pretty cool, too, that we had Christopher Horton, who's your best friend, we call old school, who is pretty much a big figure in Shaw Raiders basketball, and hopefully will be the head coach there one day, who graduated from Shaw. It's cool that then Jonathan Gordon, same age as y'all, he's head coach at Calvary. I mean, the young guys bringing young blood. I think that is awesome for the game of basketball. I think it's awesome for this area. But, Coach, let's go into last year's team. All right, so there's a lot of learning curves you're having to do. You've been in the coaching circuit, but being the head coach, I know you had to learn some things. And then being also a PE teacher, too, you got your full-time job you have to worry about. What are some things you really learned about last year as a coach? Then we'll speak specifically on the team and how they did in your eyes. But you as a coach, what did you learn?
The main thing I had to learn was patience and composure. Patience being that, Rome wasn't built in a day. So every day, just being able to treat it like building blocks. Hey, we're here today, then we're going to go here, then we're going to go here, and trusting in that process of continually getting better. My team last year was phenomenal in that. And then composure. Like you said, I'm young, I'm vibrant, I bring a lot of energy and a lot of passion. And sometimes that is not always well received by those on the receiving end, whether it's my players, the referees, it could be parents. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, the way you present yourself in every situation needs to be almost kind of a calm, cool, collected, because for my team, it helps them understand, hey, I'm cool. I'm not worried because I know we prepared for this. I know we're ready for this. We're ready for this moment. We deserve this moment. Let's take advantage of this moment. And so just being able to convey that message to the team especially is important through just body language. Like that's before I even speak a word. Just looking at me and saying, oh, okay, he's calm. I could take a deep breath. I'm sorry. What was the rest of the question?
Oh, no, you're good, because that's where I want to kind of transition to the actual team, man, because you really hit on what you improved on and what you were looking forward to last year. And last year you went 17-13. For majority of the season, Coach, you didn't even have a double-digit score. Now, at the end of Max Press, Thomas Henderson did get that 10-point double-digit for you. But I feel like it was a team effort that all believed in the system, all believed in their role on the team, that allowed you to be competitive with the best team in the GIAA last year in Pacelli in that Elite Eight. You had them at halftime. Coach Black says one of the best coach games of anybody he fought against that last year. Just eventually talent does wear down great effort, no matter how great of a coach job you were doing. But what did you think about your team? And do you think, I know there's some things you want to work on this offseason, but after year one, what did you think about what your team did in your first season coaching?
Oh, they were phenomenal. I mean, I was their third head coach in 3 years. So the knowledge and the approach that I had to the game was completely different from anything that they had been coached through at any point during their high school career. And so that kind of ties into those building blocks. It was really a grind to say, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. How can I get these guys up to speed to where we can do all of it proficiently? And I also had to take some time to really learn my team, learn my players, understand, hey, he's not comfortable in this situation and he's not going to be successful in this situation. So why would I put them in this situation? And being able to coach my team, scout the other team, and then just prepare them, it built confidence. And we were able to ride that wave of confidence and utilize our play style, multiple defenses, multiple offenses, and take advantage of different teams at different times. Corey Black had a phenomenal roster at Pacelli. I mean, it was the reason they won a state championship. And ultimately, I told the guys that they had nothing to hang their head on. And primarily, I would say that myself as a head coach, if I were better prepared earlier in the season, it was bad habits that I saw that I should have corrected early, and they just came to bite us later in that second half of that Elite Eight game.
Well, again, I was there for it. I've loved watching how your team got better each and every game throughout the season. Now you had a whole off season, okay? You had summer league. I was able to see the Columbus High game. I like what I saw. I know you're really high on a couple of key players. I want you to give, and there's any newcomers, kind of just talk about your roster going into this season, Karl, Coach Ivey.
Well, we have two all-region guys coming back in Chapman Dykes and Grayson Miley. I think Chapman was our second leading scorer, and Grayson, I believe he was our third leading scorer last year. So, bringing two of your top three scoring options back is a great feeling. And then we're adding a 6'5" sophomore, Reed Adams. We have some other juniors that are going to be ready to step up, and two seniors, Hank Wiley and Bo Christopher, who had some great summers. So we're bringing some great size, quality play, and like you said, we only had one guy last year who averaged double digits. And so everybody that buys into the program understand, hey, this is a team effort. So on either side of the ball, it doesn't matter who does it as long as we're all working to get the job done.
Well, Coach, looking at what is coming up this upcoming year, the league's kind of wide open, man, and anything could happen. But what does a Coach Ivey in year two team look like? Are we talking about running guns, scoring a lot of points? Are we focusing on defense and slowing down? Because I feel like last year, your team probably couldn't keep up in the 80s and 90s. But if you kept it in the 50s and 60s, played great defense, you won a majority of your games. So, and you even held Pacelli, who averaged close to 75 to 80 points a game last year, to 55 in that Elite Eight. So talk about what your teams will look like this year and what you want. What could be the best scenario?
We are definitely going to be a strong defensive-minded team. You can expect to see us do and show a lot of different looks on defense, whether it's your regular motion. We're going to run zone. It might look like man. It might look like 1-3-1. I don't know. You don't know. That's how I'm going to say it. But other than that, we're always going to look to push the ball in transition, secondary breaks. I have some new schemes that I'm going to be putting in to really highlight some of those key returning guys. And yeah, I'm checking everybody's oil.
Listen, Coach, I cannot wait for that first Calvary-Brookstone matchup, because now it's region and it means something. And then you got Pacelli. It's going to be a lot of fun this upcoming year, and I know you're looking forward to it too. I
have come to understand that we are everybody's rival. So if it Columbus High, if it's Calvary, if it's Pacelli, if it's Westfield, if it's Bullock Academy, when you step across from a Brookstone team, you just got to understand that it's going to be a tough game. And so I'm just going to do everything I can to make sure our guys are prepared, tough enough, conditioned enough, and mentally focused enough to go out, execute, and put ourselves in a situation to win.
Coach, appreciate you. Looking forward to seeing you this upcoming season, talking to you throughout the year. And as always, appreciate you, man, and good luck.
Sir, thank you. Thanks again for having me.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we got the head baseball coach, Greg Mathis, on. Just want to say championship. More Brookstone Cougar Coaches Show on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
You're watching right now the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this.
Check out these great offers at Glenn Smith and Opelika.
At Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika, you can own one of the best-selling vehicles in the USA, the GMC Sierra pickup. Right now, discounted up to $15,500 off. The roomy and comfortable compact SUV, the GMC Terrain, is up to $7,750 off.
Choose from over 400 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way to Glenn Smith and Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Welcome to the Campus Academy Private School, where every student is celebrated for their individuality. With personalized curriculum, students unlock their potential, growing into confident learners. At the Campus Academy, we give teachers the freedom to create dynamic classrooms where every student's voice is heard. Discover the difference. Enroll your child today and watch them thrive.
Are you ready to save big on a new Chevrolet?
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet for the Chevy Summer Drive. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox, discounted up to $6,000 off. Or powerful full-size Chevy Silverados for up to $14,750 off. And fuel-efficient Chevy Malibus up to $5,750 off. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet.
Get ready to smile.
Welcome to the Campus Academy Private School, where every student is celebrated for their individuality. With personalized curriculum, students unlock their potential, growing into confident learners. At the Campus Academy, we give teachers the freedom to create dynamic classrooms where every student's voice is heard. Discover the difference. Enroll your child today and watch them thrive.
Are you ready to save big on a new Chevrolet?
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet for the Chevy Summer Drive. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox, discounted up to $6,000 off. Or powerful full-size Chevy Silverados for up to $14,750 off. And fuel-efficient Chevy Malibus up to $5,750 off. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet.
Get ready to smile.
I'm smiling because Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC is going to be hosting us tomorrow live from the showroom. And well, I guess we don't have the graphic up. It's all right because I put Richard on the spot. But we're going to be live tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Me, Richard. We got Coach Mo Scott, the CVCC CVCC basketball, head basketball coach for the men's. Mo Scott is going to be on. And then we're also going to have, that's in person, also in person, Rex Castillo and Marvin James. So jam-packed show, should be a lot of fun. If you're in the area, come and say what's up. Now I'm going to say what's up to a guy that just won a state championship. He was by far the coach of the year in our area. His name is Greg Mathis. He's the head baseball coach for the Brookstone Cougars. He's in his office right now, already plotting and game planning for this upcoming year. How was your summer, Coach? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but it's always a short one because I do football too. So kind of just rolls right in. And, but it's been fun. We've done a whole lot of celebrating with the seniors. You know, we had a big senior class. Their parents were real excited. We had our ring sizing the other day up in the Chiefs Center. And, we've had a lot of guys that have been playing summer ball. Taft Middleton went and played in the Prospect League. So we hadn't seen much of him, but a lot of our younger guys have gone and played travel ball, which is what everybody does now. But it's been a good summer. I can't complain, but it's also fixing to be over, so we got time to move on.
Yeah, I know coaches and teachers got to get back August the 7th, coach, and then it's football season, volleyball, softball's about to start. It's just gung-ho for Brookstone Cougar Athletics. Coach, let's talk about last year's team, kind of recap it, put a bow on it. Everything that you accomplished, all the teams that you beat, seeing this group come together the way it did and finish and the fashion it did. Talk about what these group of young men meant to you, specifically the seniors, and what did it mean to you as a coach? Now you've had a couple months to reflect on it, being able to say state championship winning head coach. You got several as assistant, but now one as a head coach too.
Yeah, well, I was a head coach before. I know Rance had said he had talked to you. I was a head coach at Woodland Christian, which we used to be in the AISA against Glenwood, and then the two schools merged, and I was a head coach down at Americus. Then I kind of got out of it a little bit, started a business, and then Coach Howard got me back into it over at Columbus High. But, yeah, it was special. I've been to the playoffs a few times as a head coach, but we never were able to win it. And this group, we just had our banquet the other day when we had the ring size. And you know, you talk about this group of 8 seniors that we had, and literally every one of them have been playing for 4 years. Most of them have been 3-year starters, 2-year starters. They've taken their lumps back when, you know, you got a sophomore out there against a senior. That's like a grown man against a young man. And we took our lumps. But just to see these guys come together and for them to develop into leaders, that's pretty special. And it makes you think you're doing your job because at the end of the day, you know, yeah, we all want to win state championships, but we want these guys to be contributors to society and go on to college and get their education and be productive. I tell you, we you know, to the victor goes the spoils, or whatever the saying is. But, you know, we handed out some all region, all state plaques and everything. And, you know, sitting here talking about these guys, you ask about how special it was. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, Thrift, it was hard getting through talking about some of those guys, you know, because they've just given everything to the program and given me everything they had. And, you can't think of a better way to go out. I know you played in high school. You can't think of a better way to go out your senior year than to win a state championship. So I'm proud of those guys. We've kind of built a family atmosphere around here, and I know I'll see those guys. I know they'll come back, and we'll have a few of them playing, and they'll always be part of the Brookstone baseball family. It's how we like to tell them.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Coach. And just, again, being state champions now, this is something that every member of this team can take on and tell their grandkids and their grandkids. I think it's just awesome. But now you have to replace some elite talent. Okay, Taft Middleton, the senior, the all-world player, and with a few others. Do you feel like this summer with the travel ball and everything that happened, and are you got any newcomers? How's the roster looking like for this upcoming year for you, Coach?
Well, yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, you talking about Taft Middleton, you had Cole Stansel, who was a shortstop for us. You know, you got Brett Novaleski, Taylor Hancock, Davis Harris, Madden Dismute, which Dismute was just, you know, that was just a blessing that came from the golf course. You know, he didn't play for 3 years, and then he just comes out there and hits about 400 and plays flawless in the field. But yeah, we got some guys coming back. You know, we're returning our third baseman, Charles Briscoe. He hit about 325. He batted, hit good for us, plays a really good, you know, he's probably one of our best defensive players. And then, of course, we got just kind of going around the diamond in center field. We got Maxwell Jones, who I'm sure you've seen. He's just an outstanding athlete. He's a really good football player, too. He really lit it up. Had some schools talk to him this summer up at East Cobb and kind of put himself on the radar with some different schools. So we're looking forward to having him. He's a basically a 3-year starter. And then we've got Will Turner, who will be playing second base. He's a 3-year starter. Probably had one of the biggest games of his career in the championship game. He had 3 hits in that game 2 against First Presbyterian and turned that double play right there to end it. And then, of course, behind the plate is Mercer Hudson. Of course, you know, his reputation. He's a 2-time All-State player, signed with South Carolina. So that kind of speaks for itself. But we feel like where we're going to be, you know, you can't ever replace guys like that, especially when you have that heavy group of seniors. But we feel where we're going to be real competitive is on the mound, because what we really do there, we return Shinu Kim, who was our number 2. Of course, obviously, Taft Middleton was our number 1. He went 11-1. But Shinu, you know, he wasn't chopped liver. He went 7-0 and had about a 2.6 ERA, 2.66 ERA, I think is what he did. And then we have another left-handed kid that was a freshman that came on for us, Ben Ivey, went 4-0. He had a 1.58 ERA. And then, of course, you saw in the state playoff game, which this guy will probably end up being our shortstop, but it's good to know we can bring him in at any time. He's got a real live arm, is Brennan Neal. And Brendan won, I think he won 2 games. And then he had like 3 or 4 saves, and his ERA. We set a school record this year. Our ERA as a team was 2.25. So that's pretty good in 33 games and playing the level of the competition, the level of teams that we played. But you know, we're going to find out early how we do. I went out and, you know, scheduled a tough schedule, mostly the same teams. We're going to go down to Florida. We're going to play Port St. Joe, which is always a powerhouse down there. We got Chipley, who was the state champ, not this past year. They made it to the Final Four, but the year before they were the state champs. So, you know, we're going to throw these guys out there early, and then hopefully by the time we get to region play, we'll get back on the roll like we did this year. But, you know, our region play, if I didn't schedule a game, our region play with Pacelli and Calvary now coming into GIAA and Westfield and, you know, Strong Rock, that's tough enough. Those 12 games right there are as tough as any, you know, that I could find on the schedule. But we still have Columbus High, Shaw, and those type people. So we got a real challenging schedule again, but we're hoping these guys will step up. We're going to test them early and see what happens.
Oh, Coach, I can't wait for the season. You've gone from the hunting, and you were hunting everybody, taking names, numbers, and you were giving out butt whoopings. Now you're going to be the hunted. People are actually going to be coming out and looking after you. But, Coach, I got to ask you this question, and you can put the rumors to bed, because I think I even saw them when I was talking with Brant Gillespie a week ago about who your new assistant coach is for the Brookstone Cougars. You can't keep it under the rug anymore, baby.
Well, I knew this was going to be a question, and I'm glad that I get to tell you guys first, because I don't think it's officially broke news yet. And you guys have been so good to us with the coverage and all, so I feel like y'all need to be in on the know. But I
Thank you.
feel in about probably 12 minutes, Rex Castillo and Jack Patterson and all your home guys are going to be letting it out on the air, because we had it just took a while to get some paperwork done, and we didn't want to put it out there. But yeah, my new assistant coach next year is going to be a guy that has been I played for him at Kendrick. I've coached with him on 3 state championship teams. I coached with him at Central on a whole bunch of, you know, region championship teams. And this guy, I tell people all the time, part of the reason I got into coaching was because of Coach Howard. I was very fortunate. I was at Kendrick. My parents were divorced when I was 12. I got up to high school, and, you know, it's just simply by, you know, the great guys like Bobby Howard. I hear guys all the time talk about, man, my high school coach, he wasn't very good. I was very fortunate at Kendrick. At that time, we had a great coaching staff. The head coach was a guy named Joe Pate, who went on, left Kendrick, and ended up being the defensive coordinator and assistant athletic director at North Carolina State. And then I also played for a guy my senior year named Ben Scott, who, if you go to Carrollton, he won a state championship with Reggie Brown, Carrollton High School, and Reggie went on to play at Georgia and played in the NFL. But if you go to Carrollton, Coach Scott is not alive anymore. But, and guys like Coach Howard, Bill Gaither, Cleophas Hope. I mean, we had a great staff at Kendrick back in those days. And those guys would do anything from come pick you up and take you home and all that kind of stuff that, that you have to do. Sometimes I remember when I went down to Americus and was coaching with Dan Rakel, one of the first questions they asked us was, what do you drive? And if you had a pickup truck, they would sign a contract with you, because you had to go pick your players up half the time during the summer. A lot of those guys down there in South Georgia, they were working. So, but yeah, this guy is going to be special. He's got a lot to give. He's 12 times winningest coach. It's been rumors, but if anybody that's in the know knows, it's going to be Bobby Howard, Coach Howard. I don't call him Bobby. It's Coach Howard to me, always will be. He has been my mentor. He is a great friend of mine. We have a relationship that's very unusual, having stayed in touch and coached together since high school. And Coach Howard he's actually doing football with the Rants right now. A lot of people try to pigeonhole Coach Howard as just a baseball guy, but if you sit down and talk with him, last time Columbus High won a region, Coach Howard was the head football coach over there. So he knows his football too, but everybody just thinks of Coach Howard as, being a baseball guy. So, and I do football too, because I played at Liberty and I grew up playing it. And I always tell my players I want them to play football, because if you're out there taking on a 220-pound linebacker, sliding into second base against a 160-pound second baseman, breaking up a double play is not that hard of a task. So we encourage all our guys to play football, and we have a good relationship with the football coaches. But, we are so excited to have Coach Howard here with us. He's got so much to give. He knows so many college coaches, pro. He's had, I think, five guys in the pros. I mean, he has a relationship, Jimmy Lester, Scout, guys like that. So if you're a Brookstone baseball player and you want to go to the next level, Coach Howard's going to be, he's going to be a valuable resource for us. But he's a great guy, and like I said, he's been my mentor, and I was real excited, and still am, when we found out that he was coming back home. I kind of threw it out there, and I think this is what he wants to do. So he's a great addition to Brookstone.
Coach, I know you didn't do this, but it's kind of out of the playbook of Corey Black. I feel like he did the same thing with Richard Mahone, who was his mentor at CVCC. And it's like, I feel like both of you guys, when you get to that position as the head dog, the last thing you want to do is having someone that has more pedigree and it feels like is overshadowing you. I don't think you have that problem. Corey didn't have that problem. You're about making your team better. And if that means adding someone that has maybe a better resume than you don't care, because the ultimate goal is to get your kids to the next level and win. And I think that's what you're going to be able to do. Do you agree with that, Coach?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was joking with I had an assistant that left and went somewhere where he could coach with his son. And I jokingly, and, still maintain a great relationship with him and wish him the best of luck. But I told him, I said, man, don't feel bad. And he said, man, what are you talking about? What are you calling me for? Because I like to joke around with him. I said, hey, man, don't feel bad about leaving Brookstone. And he said, I don't feel bad. I loved my time at Brookstone. I said, well, I replaced you with the all-time winningest coach in Georgia high school history. So you can be that part of a trivia question. And when anybody asks, who did you leave for? And I can say the answer is going to be Bobby Howard. So we had a good laugh about that. But no, me and Coach Howard have, like I said, we have a great relationship. I'm not everything that I do is an offset. There's no comparison, but I almost look at it like, I try to say that it's just kind of the Kirby Smart, Nick Saban thing. I mean, Kirby Smart is not intimidated one bit, nor should he be by Nick Saban. They just bounce stuff. You see those guys' relationship when they're not coaching against each other. Bounce ideas. I mean, even when Coach Howard was not coaching with me, when he was down in Florida, or even when he was over at Bocelli, me and him would talk 3 times a week, just talking baseball stuff. Like, Coach, I saw this drill, and you might want to do this at practice. You know what I mean? And just we've been doing that, for 35, 40 years. So I'm just looking forward. Coach Howard has a tremendous amount of knowledge, and baseball is just something that you learn something new every day. Our relationship goes back. I always tell this story about him. He don't like me to, but Coach Howard was a really good athlete in high school. And I remember when I was at Kendrick, and I know you'll like this because you're a big basketball guy, but I remember I loved playing basketball, and I played, and I was considered to be pretty good. But I remember when Coach Howard first came to Kendrick, I was like, who is it? Look, this guy was walking across the gym, and I was with some other guys. I was in PE, and he walked across the gym. He was going to meet with Coach Pate and about coming to Kendrick. And he picked up a volleyball, I believe it was some kind of PE ball, took about 3 steps, jumped up, and dunked the ball dunked into the goal. And I said, whoa, wait a minute now. I got to meet this guy, and with that, right. we developed a relationship, and it's just been going on and on. His family, I used to coach his son. Will played at Columbus. My oldest boy, Tyler, played, and we had an agreement, because we get so mad. Sometimes when you coach your kids, you get mad, and you might get out of hand with them. So we made an agreement, Coach, I'll handle Will and you handle Tyler. And it worked out pretty good for us over at Columbus. And, but no, I'm not, hey, I'm looking forward to it more than I'm sitting around worrying about it. And like I said, we're going to, I think the kids are going to enjoy it, the parents. And I'm glad to have the guy back in town. And I'm glad he's back in town. I'm even happier that he's over at Brookstone.
Yeah, me too, Coach. Last question for you is, why Brookstone is a school that you've called home, and I feel like you're going to call home until you retire. Why is this place so special to you? And I feel like it's just like a match made in heaven. Hence why I feel you also started winning so quickly in year 2, being a state championship winning coach. This is your spiel to our audience on why Brookstone is such a special place for you and your program.
Well, you had the interview with Rance, and it starts there, it stops. We have a new headmaster, Henry Hall. Of course, Marty Lester was the guy that gave me, started me off with the job. And Henry, and I'm forever grateful to him. He took a chance on me as the head here. Like I said, I'd been a head before, but he had no idea what could happen. And the Brookstone people, you interviewed Rance the other day. That guy, just a wealth of knowledge in football. I'm trying to put some of his stuff in middle school football. And that guy is an absolute guru on the offensive side of the football. But it's just a family atmosphere. It starts over there with him as the AD, all the coaches. I saw you were talking to Kim. Me and her work together, Karl, Ivey. We just got a great bunch of people over here at Brookstone, and an outstanding bunch of parents that are going to do and give us the resources. Got a great board that's just going to let us sit back and coach, and what they're going to do is supply us with what we need. And that's the exciting thing. And I think that all our sports over here, I think you're fixing to see Brookstone take off in all our sports, which we've been very competitive, but now we're not settling for anything but the state level now.
Coach, I'm really hoping here in the near future that we can say Brookstone Cougar Athletics will be a home as it was last year, but more of a home this year, if you will, for all Cougar athletics. You know we're going to be there for your games, but we'd like to be there even more this year. And we know that you're always talking well about us. We appreciate the support that you've given us, and we are looking forward to talking to you real soon and probably seeing you out on that football field here in the next couple of weeks.
No doubt. Hey, you guys do a great job, and I think y'all are getting bigger and better. I heard you talking about some things y'all are going to do. Y'all going to be on the go, man. Is it not crazy that we're fixing to be hitting football? Because it doesn't seem like, time don't wait for anybody. And but thank you guys for all you do and all the support you give, not only to Brookstone, but to all high school athletics around town. You guys doing a great job. It's something that's been needed a long time.
Well, Coach, we're trying to be the ESPN around this area, 24/7 full of content. That's what we're heading to this year. Appreciate you, Coach, and we'll talk to you real soon.
All right. Thank you, brother. Take care.
We're going to take a break. That is Coach Greg Mathis, my good friend, who just won a state championship this year. And in Broke News, we'll be back with Coach Lee Halverson from the volleyball coach here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
You're watching right now the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this.
Check out these great offers at Glenn Smith and Opelika.
At Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika, you can own one of the best-selling vehicles in the USA, the GMC Sierra pickup. Right now, discounted up to $15,500 off. The roomy and comfortable compact SUV, the GMC Terrain, is up to $7,750 off.
Choose from over 400 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way to Glenn Smith and Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Welcome to the Campus Academy Private School, where every student is celebrated for their individuality. With personalized curriculum, students unlock their potential, growing into confident learners. At the Campus Academy, we give teachers the freedom to create dynamic classrooms where every student's voice is heard. Discover the difference. Enroll your child today and watch them thrive.
Are you ready to save big on a new Chevrolet?
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet for the Chevy Summer Drive. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox, discounted up to $6,000 off. Or powerful full-size Chevy Silverados are up to $14,750 off. And fuel-efficient Chevy Malibus up to $5,750 off. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet.
Get ready to smile.
Welcome to the Campus Academy Private School, where every student is celebrated for their individuality. With personalized curriculum, students unlock their potential, growing into confident learners. At the Campus Academy, we give teachers the freedom to create dynamic classrooms where every student's voice is heard. Discover the difference. Enroll your child today and watch them thrive.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Brookstone Coaches Show. Coming up tomorrow, live from Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Me and Rich will be in the showroom. Chris Gates on the ones and twos, and it will be a lot of fun. Got some giveaways. We're going to be talking SEC football, plus the In the Trenches and some documentaries that are being posted on WRBL with Rex Castillo, who is a morning news director, and he was also the sports director, still involved in sports, and our contributor here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Then we'll have Marvin James on. He was basically the sports director for the Macon area, is now in charge of media relations for all of the state of Georgia. So we're going to have him on, and then we'll wrap it up with Mo Scott, the new CVCC men's head basketball coach. Cannot wait to talk with him. Should be tons of fun, and can't wait to just get back in with CVCC athletics this upcoming year. Also, on Thursday, we trying to have a scheduled state of the program. Don't know if it's going to happen yet, so if not, there won't be anything on Thursday. We're trying to get with Carver here this week or next week. And on top of that, we also have to Friday, the Muskogee County Media Days at 9:30. We'll be live, me and Richard talking, maybe 9:15. At 10 o'clock, the Media Days start with all 8 coaches and players in Muskogee County. After that, later that night, we'll be live from the Black and Gold game. 7 o'clock, me, Rick Beach, Richard Aldridge, Noah Shelton. It's going to be a full crew, all our producers. We're just going to have a lot of fun up at Harris County for the Black and Gold game. Now, we want to actually live stream the game because, just being a scrimmage game, and it's really more of a practice for us in that aspect. But we will be live as a show to promote Harris County and high school football around the area. So I can't wait. Friday Night Lights, it's going to be here. It's already here, Richard, because now every Friday after that, we will be having somebody football games on. And then Thursday night, too, August 16th, our first high school game day. I haven't decided yet, but we pretty much are leaning towards, there's a couple options. We got Calvary, Terrell, and then we got Shaw and Northside. It should be Terrell County and Calvary. It's what we're probably going to be. We will have that dropping next week to promote where our first high school game day is going to be for the rest of the year. And can't wait. We're going to have headgear, pick'ems, you name it. We're going to have it on Georgia Alabama Sports Live for sure. Coming up here in just a moment, I'm going to have on the volleyball coach, Lee Halverson, here in just a moment, hopefully, to wrap up the Brookstone Cougars Coaches Show. Starting next Sunday, we will also have our Georgia Alabama Sports Live show. Saturday morning is Brookstone Cougars Media Day, Football Media Day, 9:30. So we'll have 2 media days, Friday and Saturday. Friday morning at 10, Muskogee County, live at 9:30. 9 o'clock live, Brookstone Media Days. So looking forward to being able to do that. And then next week, we start then you're going to see it, how our content's going to be. And we have the schedule set for all the shows. And then the games will be set here for the month of August. But let's go ahead and bring on the head volleyball coach. He's a good friend of mine. He decided to get back in the coaching realm, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But Coach Halverson, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, Coach. I don't know if you weren't here for this, and maybe you can go back and watch the beginning of the show. But I was telling everyone how you're a great pickup basketball player. And I don't know if you still play pickup or not, but I tell you this right now. Trash talking is in Lee's repertoire, and I love it. And he will hit you with this one-legged fade in your mouth. You literally can have 5 hands in his face, and it's somehow going to go down. I miss those days, man. But let's talk about you and why volleyball is special to you. You've coached at multiple high schools around the area. You're a great volleyball player in your own right. Why is this something you started pursuing and wanting to coach?
Well, I was going to college when I was really young. I got a late start in college, and I was working and going to school at night. And I had this one semester that I had an hour and 10 minutes in between classes, and so I started going to the YMCA and working out. This was back when it was the old building at the YMCA, and you had those 3 levels. You had the downstairs with the bench press and free weights were, then the second levels, treadmills, and your stuff like that. And then the third level was the basketball court. And so I was working out, I was on the machines, and then a guy came downstairs and said, "Hey, we need a volleyball player." And I said, "Well, I'm not that guy." He said, "Well, you can jump. I can teach you everything else." I said, "Okay," and went up there and started playing. And then every Monday during that semester and for the rest of the year, I started playing, and I fell in love with the game of volleyball. And then my church that I was going to at the time, Cornerstone, they started a volleyball league in Phoenix City and wanted me to play on it. And I already played, so I knew how to play and played there and had a lot of success. And then just kept playing. And then I got an opportunity to put my own team together, and we won some championships, here locally. And then, Calvary took notice of that. A lady by the name of I forgot her name. Her last name is Tiffany Shiver. That's her name. and she recruited me to come coach at Calvary Christian School. And, I had never coached, at that capacity before, and just fell in love with the game from a coaching side, even though I was still playing. And I kind of had the best of both worlds there for a little while, where I was playing and coaching. And, I just saw the benefit of how you can impact somebody's life, especially young people's life. I've been involved with young people since I was, 22 years old, and saw the benefit of how you can impact young people and help them be prepared for life and things like that. And, I'd have girls come to me after I got through coaching them, and they would go to college, and they'd say, hey, when you coach in middle school, all that stuff that you taught us about being mentally tough and being prepared and all those things help prepare us for life. And, you hear stories like that, Thrift, it just, motivates you even more to get involved in it. And, God has been good to me while I've been coaching, and very fortunate to be, back at Brookstone. But what really got me into coaching was just, the opportunity to see the game from a different vantage point. And I never thought I would love it more as a coach than I did as a player. I love playing, but I really love impacting young people's life. It's something I'm passionate about, and it's just an awesome opportunity to be back at Brookstone and help this program grow and help these young people over here.
And you made mention about being back. You had been there and was a head coach there for a few years. What led you to want to get back into the coaching realm? You sent me a text, and I was excited about it because it evidently, I don't know if it's coincident or not, Coach Halverson, but we're actually going to live stream volleyball and softball games this year for the first time. Excellent. And we're adding more sports.
That's wonderful.
So it's cool that you're back coaching the first year that we decided to expand our reach on the sports that we cover, as all sports around this area should. But it's hard when you're only a team of 3 or 4. Now we're expanding to 8 to be able to do the volleyball, the softball, the flag football, predominantly a lot of the girls' sports. But what led you back to take over this Brookstone Cougar place that I really feel like you called home, and you like the family atmosphere, don't you?
Yeah, and when Sam Dutton and I were coaching together, I was the head coach my first year in 2018. Then Sam Dutton came over here to be a teacher, and he was the GA at Mercer. And so, because he was faculty back then, it was GHSA. So if you had a faculty member that was the coach, he's the head coach. And so he was the head coach, and I was his assistant. And I coached the defense, he coached the offense. And we worked really well together. I knew his dad. I knew his brother. I know his brother, know his dad. And, had a connection there. And we really hit it off really fast. And, he was big on building families, building family culture. And at that point, Thrift, I was about ball. I was about being the best you could be. I had tunnel vision. I didn't care about building family culture. I said, what builds a great culture is winning. And he wanted to build a sense of family within the culture. And as time went on, I fell in love with it, the family culture, and fell in love with the importance that the JV and the varsity feel a connection and feel harmony together. And, I loved it. I didn't know how much I loved it until I left it. And he and I both left after the 2022 season. And I was just wanting to take a break and just wanted to spend some more time with my family and just needed a break from it. And I got invited to the first game of the year by Sam. And I said, I don't want to go to the first game. Coach Herrera's there. I don't want to do that. I mean, I don't want to put that pressure on. The former coaches are there and everything. And the players started texting me. He got the players to text me, the former player. We're going to be there, Coach Lee. I said, no, I don't know. And finally, enough of them bugged me. I said, okay, I'll be there. And to be honest with you, had I not come to that game, I don't know that I would have ever come back. Because, I walked in there and I just saw the sense of togetherness and the intensity from the fans, everything that Sam and I had built. And it's no fault of Coach Herrera's. It's just things that happen. It just wasn't there no more. And I thought, well, he'll have time to rebuild it. He'll fix it. He'll make it in his image, and he'll do a fantastic job. And he got an opportunity to coach at a college, and it left an opening. And to be honest with you, I was like, I hope the next person they hire is going to build that family culture again. I hope that. And so, I left it alone. I had heard that he left, and I wished him well. He's a really good coach. He knows the game, and there's a lot of good players here. And that's another thing I saw. I saw really good players. I was like, wow, with the program, we got great players here. And I got approached by Cindy Tote to come back, and I said, well, all I got to do is ask my wife, and she's going to say no, and that'll bail me out. I'll say, well, the wife said no, Cindy. I'm so sorry. Right. And when my wife said, you need to approach it and do it, I said, oh, man. And I just laid out all these hurdles for Brookstone as reasons why I couldn't do it. And, I thought, well, I put enough hurdles in front of them. They're not going to come back. And, Coach Rance, the great guy, and he was here when I was here, and he wanted me, and he made things happen. And I heard from him, we met, and I knew then that I was going to come back. And, to be honest with you, Thrift, that's the first thing that was on my mind when I came back, was to build the togetherness, to build the sense of family, to have the girls be proud of to be part of something, to want to be here. And we want people to be excited about playing us, and we want opposing fans to be excited about when we come to their place or when they come to our place. And so the number one thing that I wanted to reestablish when I came back was the family culture. And that's something that Sam built, and I just wanted to help reestablish it. And so that's really what brought me back. Was the one thing that I did not like that Coach Sam was doing was the one thing I wanted to reestablish when I came back, and that was that family culture.
Well, Coach, I can't wait to come and see that family culture that you're talking about. But before we talk about this upcoming year and some of your key players and your staff, I want you to basically give the spiel to everyone out there that maybe turns their nose up at a volleyball match, maybe never thought about going to one. It's electric. It is very vibrant. You're seeing elite athleticism, peak athleticism, and skill. Talk about what it's like to go to a high school volleyball match.
Well, I think there's no better game as far as momentum goes than volleyball. I played basketball, I played baseball. I'm the team chaplain for Spencer High School football. But being a part of all those sports, there is no sport that has momentum like volleyball. It's the ultimate momentum game. And when your team has it, you don't have to guess, because the arena, the gym is just so vibrant with energy. The kids get into it. You don't even have to know anything about the game to get into the game. I've had games here. We were in playoff matches, and I thought the bleachers were going to break because the student section was jumping up and down so much. We've had a lot of parents. We've had opposing teams, say, hey, I've never been in an environment like this before. This is electric. This is as good as it gets. As far as excitement goes, when you're in a great volleyball match, you're never going to forget it, because the energy and the atmosphere. And there's something about when a player makes a great play, a great kill, a great save, a great block. I mean, that energy, that momentum that it creates, there's nothing like it. I told people, if you could bottle that up and sell it as a drink, I'd buy it. I'd be broke buying it, because it's just an unbelievable feeling. And the energy and the atmosphere that we had when Sam and I were here was second to none. If you want to be a part and see great volleyball and do that, I mean, we have a great program. Northside has a great program. Harris County has a great program. Columbus High School has a great program. And so Glenwood does too. There's a lot of great volleyball in our community, and we want the game to grow. And if you want to see some great matches, I encourage them to come to ours this year, because they're going to see great volleyball and they're going to see great intensity from our players.
Yeah, speaking of growing, that is exactly why I want to be able to live stream multiple games. We're looking at 4 to 6 per month that we're going to try to get in, maybe more than that. So excited about being able to do this upcoming season. Coach, talk about your roster, talk about your staff that makes this hopefully a very successful season. What are some of your expectations heading in this year?
Well, we have a really talented roster. We have a few girls that play travel volleyball. We have some girls that are nationally ranked. So we're really excited about that. We have really good players that can play. volleyball. Carson is a great player. She's our outside. I think people are going to know a lot about her. Priscilla Fega is another great outside player. I think a lot of people are going to hear from her and see what she's bringing to the table. She's very strong. She's very athletic. Once you see her jump, you're not going to take your eyes off of her. We have a really good setter in Ryan Priestley. We have a really good middle in Meg McPherson, and also Jenna's another good middle for us. So we have a lot of talented volleyball players, but we're very young. And so we're going to have to be able to kind of mature really, really, really fast and compete really good to be able to do well in the playoffs. But I like our roster. I like the energy of this team. I like the spirit of this team. They're very coachable. And we have a lot of good players, and they're very coachable. We had a very good practice today, had a really good practice yesterday, so I'm really pleased with our practices. And as far as our staff goes, I couldn't be prouder to be associated with, a better bunch of coaches. Tegan Chambly is my assistant coach, and she's also the head coach for JV. She does a fantastic job with her practice plans, with motivating her players and cultivating a good culture with our players. And then Taylor Scarborough, she's another great coach. She's the assistant coach for the JV. They're both former college volleyball players, so really excited what they're doing. I like their energy. I like their intensity. I like what they bring. I like how they're encouraging to our players. And I really love, their organization for what they do in the practices. So really excited about the culture that we're building here. It doesn't take very long to walk in the gym and know that you're walking into a gym where coaches know ball and know how to coach ball and know how to cultivate a positive, growing atmosphere for the players. And really excited to be working with them this season and can't wait to see how we do in games. So I'm very excited about the staff that we have, and I'm very excited and proud to be associated with the players that we have.
Well, Coach, by the way, last time you did coach, you were in the GHSAA, or was that the first year of the GIAA when last time you coached?
The last time I coached, we were in the GIAA, and we were in the Final Four.
Well, I know we'll be looking forward to calling some Brookstone Cougars and get that Pacelli-Brookstone rivalry. Pacelli's got a decent program, too. Cannot wait to be able to see that. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you as always, my brother. Looking forward to seeing you on Friday nights. You know what you mean to me, and looking forward to doing some Brookstone Cougars volleyball this upcoming year.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Thrift, for doing all this. This is a fantastic medium. We need this. The area needs this. Please keep doing it because it's valuable. And over time, I know that you will be appreciated. I appreciate you, and I thank you so much. And I just pray God's blessings on you, and I hope this thing just grows like a wildfire, man. I'm really proud of you, and keep it up.
Thank you, Coach. And Lee, I'll be talking to you real soon. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. This is Brookstone Cougars Coaches Show, finally wrapping up with Coach Lee Halverson. Thank you to Coach Greg Mathis, Tim Ellison, and Karl Ivey. Looking forward to Cougar Athletics. We got the Brookstone Football Media Day this Saturday at 9:30. We'll see you tomorrow for the Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC live show on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. You're ready to smile.